I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. After a short period of saving more of their disposable income at the depths of the recent recession, Americans are returning to recent historical patterns of spending more and saving less. Usually, this trend indicates that happy days are here again, as the decline in savings means consumers' confidence is rising. But that's not the case today. Consumer confidence is just half of what it was at the peak of the good old days of 2007. That year, our national savings rate was 2.1%, just above its post-World War II low in 2005 of 1.5%. As millions of jobs disappeared and consumers hunkered down during the 2008-2009 recession, our savings rate almost tripled. In 2008, it was 6.2%. Now, this thriftiness didn't last long because by the fall of 2011, our savings rate was back to a paltry 3.6%. We weren't always such spenders as a nation. During the 4 years of World War II, we saved over 20% of our disposable income. Between 1974 and 1992, the savings rate often bounced between a low of 7% and a high of 11 or 12%. Since 1992, which was the beginning of an unprecedented 18-year bull market in stocks, our personal savings rate reflected those good times by averaging just about 4%. One possible reason for the decline in the savings rate in the past 3 years may be that we're paying off all the consumer debt that got us into trouble in the first place. Well, in 2000, our individual debt load, which includes student loans and mortgages, was just about $20,000 per person. In the fall of 2011, it was over $36,000 a person. That's less than the 2008 high by about 9%, but it's still 85% higher than in 2000. So obviously, Americans are not substantially reducing their debt. But what they have seen is that home ownership has plunged from about $13 trillion to just above $6 trillion in 2011. No wonder in just 5 years, such a fall in real estate equity has caused consumer confidence to be so low. It appears that our return to low savings rate then isn't the result of renewed optimism or paying down personal debt or certainly a surging economy. Rather, it's because Americans are running out of money in the face of staggering personal debt and declining net worth. This leaves them incredibly vulnerable to another downturn in the economy. Now, ironically, Americans' personal finances are a reflection of our government's fiscal woes. Washington also finds itself compromised to respond to a national emergency because of a debt load that exceeds our national income. There isn't much you and I can do about our government's overdebting and overspending, except to vote for politicians that promise to end the insanity and hold them accountable. But we can take better care of ourselves and our own affairs with a three-pronged approach. Number one, get out of debt. We may not be able to earn more or work harder, but I'll guarantee that we can spend less. Number two, start saving for emergencies. You need one savings account for periodic expenses. These are expenses you know that are going to happen, you just don't know when, like medical deductibles or home repairs or car repairs. A second account is for bona fide emergencies, like losing your job or the death of a spouse. It should represent 6 to 12 times your monthly expenses. And number three, start investing for financial independence. Ideally, you need to put aside 15 to 35% of your income, depending on your age, for the time that you no longer can or want to work. The hardest part of this approach is becoming willing to downsize your lifestyle. Too many of us say that we're willing to cut spending and economize, till it actually comes time to do it. In the 2 decades before the recession, Americans got out of the habit of making hard decisions in our own best interests. However, as our historical patterns show, we've treated ourselves with tough love in the past. When we have to, we can do it again. Thanks for joining me.